like, oh my God, I can't believe you're killing the hogs. If you don't kill the hogs, and if you're a vegetarian, they're just going to root up and eat all your vegetables, or you ain't got no damn food.
No ears on them. Got some teeth on them.
Woo! Caught hog. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have on our show, Hog Hunting Podcast, we got Johnny Wilson from Collar the Dog over there in Australia. And he's here to chop it up with us. And if you give me a quick second, I'll give you these sponsors that we have here. We're sponsored by TBC, thebestcamo.com. Also, we're sponsored by Big Country Hunting Supplies. Also, we got Hog Hunters Association Facebook page, Straight Catch, also a Facebook page. You can check us out at any one of them spots. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How'd you get into this game, man?
Oh, holy. I started hunting when I was around 7 years old with the old man, with my dad. I grew up in the bush, in the country, and Dad used to do a fair bit of shooting and a lot of fox shooting, and so I'd be back on the back of the ute, which you guys call a truck, with a spotlight.
Okay.
And and he'd be shooting, and I did that from an early age. You know, he used to skin a lot of foxes, so I sort of learned from then. And then when I was in my late teenage years, I met a guy that hunted pigs with dogs.
Okay.
And from that day on, I never really used a gun ever since then. Just dogs, knives, and old school. And I love it. Yeah, I just got hooked. And then, but I did have a big break. I had a big break off it for almost 10 years. I moved into the city in Brisbane and got into business. Okay. And then, once I was sort of set up enough to be able to do what I want to do again and have the freedom, I got back into it, and now it's like a full-time job almost. Yeah. So I've turned something into something, but I didn't mean to do it. It just happened. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing though, man. It could be worse, man. You could be working for somebody that you don't want, a job that you don't want to be at, man.
Mate, I don't work at all. I love what I do. So yeah, it's not work what I do.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But so I do that pretty well full time these days. I do a bit of guiding as well before the COVID. I've done a TV show for you guys back in over your way with Pigman. He's been here for a couple. Yeah, he's been out here a couple of times now, and I've taken him and his crew out for week-long hunts. Up in the outback pretty well, like very remote sort of areas. And so it's going good.
That's good. So you got in at 7 years old. So you practically been doing it all your life, huh?
Pretty well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely imprinted in me.
Yeah. With the hog hunting, I see it where you guys go out there and you have the hooks and stuff like hanging on the trucks because you is that something that is like mandated by Australia that you have to kill them or something like that?
Oh yeah, you're not allowed to release them. They are a big pest here. There's more pigs than people in Australia. So and they do massive amounts of damage. There's nothing for me to kill a couple of thousand pigs a year.
Wow. That's a nice problem to have, though.
Yeah. Good work for the dogs.
Yeah. For the hunter that's running dogs and whatever else, you know.
Yeah. Like some weeks there, it just depends on what area you're in. It's nothing to get, between 150, 200 a week. Go out and get sometimes get almost 50 in a night. But it just depends on where you are. I mean, down here where I am now, within a couple of hours of the city, one or two is a pretty good night. But then once you go up in more remote country, if it's good country for pigs to live in, and they got good tucker and good, river systems, swamps, water systems, like whatever it is, that's good habitat for them. Yeah, they thrive. Yeah, and you can't, nothing what you do is going to stop them. Helicopters, you name it, they just keep coming.
Wow. That sounds like over here in the States, that sounds like the problem that Texas is having.
Yep.
Because over there in Texas, they have helicopter hunts, they have all kinds of different types of hunts.
Mm-hmm.
People
Yep.
with their those night vision scopes.
Yep.
And you see guys taking out 40, 50 hogs in the night. Just in the field. I'm like, wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
I've never had a night better than probably 7 hogs myself, and that was years ago.
Yeah, righto. Yep. No, that's it. Look, every area is different. I'm pretty well blessed that I've got a lot of different country I can choose from, and like all across a couple of states pretty well. So, yeah, I'm very lucky in that way that I've got millions and millions of acres to go onto.
Man, that's nice.
Big places.
Yeah. So how's that set up? Like people call you and ask you to come hunt? How's that work?
Yeah, it's funny how it works. I haven't really had to do a lot of door knocking. They're usually friends of friends, or, oh yeah, you're hunting over here. Do you want to come over here, like next door? You know what I mean? It's virtually a word of mouth sort of thing. Yeah. So, and if you do the right thing, well, you always get welcome back. So.
Oh, of course. Show a little to the land and the landowner.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like, just go there and respect the landholder. If he needs a hand with something, always give him a hand. Go out of your way. I mean, if I go to a new place, I usually take them, carton of beer, bottle of rum, something like that. You know what I mean? Some seafood, whatever they like. Yeah, they like. It's always good to come bringing gifts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
So when you go out like that, you can use spotlights and everything else at nighttime out there?
Whatever you want to use, yeah. So it's how I usually hunt. Again, it just depends on the country. I mean, thick, scrubby country, you don't need a spotlight. You're not going to see anything anyway. So you just relying on the dogs. Always just drive it into the breeze. And then other times, if I can use the light, I still use the light. People say if you use the light, it stops the dogs from working, which is a load of crap. If my dog smells a pig and the light's on, he's gone. So I still catch plenty with the light on. So, but if you're working the breeze, I mean, you can be driving past pigs. I mean, if you're working the breeze from left to right, you're spotlighting over this side, aren't you, on the right hand side, because the dogs can't smell backwards.
Yeah.
Unless the pigs ran across the road, they can smell it with the scent coming off their track. But yeah, so I still like to use the light.
Okay.
And it's just, you can just get a few extras pretty well.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe it makes the dogs lazy, and I've heard it so many times that it makes your dogs lazy, and I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, I hear those types of things too sometimes.
Yep.
Like around here, some people are just like strictly hounds. Some people are strictly more into like the like what we have down here in the South, what we call the yellow black-mouth cur dogs.
Oh yeah, yep, seen them.
Yeah, or like the Catahoula leopards and stuff like that. And those don't take they don't take a colder track as a hound will. But what you argument on is that, okay, if you have your silent dogs, which mean they don't bark on the trail, and then you have hound type of dog where they're open on the trail, they're barking that location bark. While you have a lot of people saying that, oh, your silent dogs are start to be open dogs when they run with open dogs. That's not the case. I mean, it may happen if you have a younger dog, a younger pup that's just not. He may pick up traits off the hound, but if you got an old dog that is already set in being a silent on the trail dog, he or she's not going to turn open just like that, you know.
That's right. That's right. That dog is not even worried about the other dog. It's just focused on its job that it's doing. It's not going to change just because you got trail barking dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, young dogs can, I don't know whether it's true or not, whether they could pick up a bad habit from it, but
yeah. It's just something along the lines of what you're saying, like where people are saying, dog lazy, you know.
100%. It's a bit of a myth, I reckon.
So speaking of the dogs, what do you prefer? What do you use over there?
At the moment, so the last sort of 18 months to 2 years, I've started changing the direction of dogs that I use. So before, and mostly because I've started hunting a lot more country up in the north of Australia, where it's hot as hell.
Okay.
It's nothing in summer to be 45 degrees Celsius, which is like, it's got to be 120.
Yeah.
And you start using those bigger, handy type dogs, which is what I was using. They're called a bull Arab. We have our own breed of pig dog over here.
Okay.
It's an Aussie pig dog called a bull Arab.
Yeah.
They're about 40 years in existence now. But how they started was a greyhound, a bull terrier, and a pointer. And later they added a little bit of bloodhound in it. And now it's, they've bred them, and then, there's a few different breeders over here now. And they're good dogs, don't get me wrong, and they're good noses and all the rest of it. But when it gets hot, some of them big dogs, it's like they lose their brain, I think. And they get hot too quick, you know what I mean? And if you start pumping pigs, like big numbers through a night, those dogs just can't back it up the next night. And, you got to get to them quick. So now the direction I've gone is I've gone to a border collie style dog, but with a bit of bull terrier and greyhound in it, way back in the lines. So, they've still got the half decent nose, but having that working dog in them, you can just run them all day, all night. And if they look, they'll still hang. If they think they can hang, they're smart. They work it out. You could get a small pig, say 100-pound pig, and they might hang it. Then if it is a 100-pound pig with some good ivory, they work that out. Oh, I'm not going near that. So they'll stand back and bail it. I think you call it bay. Yeah, they bay it. And so that's the direction I've gone down, and it's only to suit the style of hunting that I've gone to. So we're using bailers, and then using like a catch dog, or a boar spear. I like the boar spear. It gets the heart pumping. Or you shoot them. I've even done, when Pigman came out, we were using the collies to flush the pigs out. And then when the guys were in position, I'd call the dogs off, and they'd use a bow and shoot the pig with a bow. That was pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
So you have a lot more control over them. So I can drive past pigs. If I see a big mob of pigs, I can drive past them, and if I look and go, oh, there's nothing decent in it that I want, I'll just tell them, don't even think about jumping off, and we'll drive straight past.
So compared to what you had before, what you have now is something that has a little more stamina, or a lot more stamina. What you're telling me, and then it's got a lot more brains to it too.
Oh, definitely a lot more brains. Yeah, very controllable. You can train them to catch boars out of mobs. You know what I mean? So that's sort of mainly what I look for. I'm trying to catch the trophy style of boar. I like the challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I go into mode where the farmer just says, look, I just want you to kill everything. Well, we do that mostly with guns. If I'm using the dogs, I don't like them grabbing small pigs and sows.
Yeah.
And so we try to train them as best we can to run through a mob and catch a boar. And they do that. You can see them run in and look around, which one's the boar, and then boom, they're on.
Man, that's cool, man. That's cool. I just love. I've always been a dog. I can't say a dog man, but I've always had dogs since I was a kid. So it's like I've always enjoyed watching those working dogs, no matter if it's a hunting dog or if it's a cattle herding dog or a sheep herding. Just watching them work with the precision that you can get in time and effort with them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You got to appreciate a good dog, and it doesn't matter what breed it is. And same with pigs. I mean, some of the dogs I've seen that are world beaters, you think, how the hell, is that even a pig dog? You look at it and you go, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? And, but they're good. And I appreciate, like, I don't have a dislike for any breed of dog. There's a few that I've had and I probably wouldn't have again. But that's just my personal preference. But yeah, I always appreciate a good dog that's gets the job done.
Yeah. Something that's got some grit and some brains to it. That's what I like nowadays too.
Yeah, that's it.
Because before I just wanted something that just rushes in there and just boom.
We've all done that. Yeah, we've all done that. Yeah, it's good to have a control over a dog. But you can get to a point when you have a bit too much control. But yeah, you just got to know that fine line.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I mean, you don't want a dog that you got that much control. He never wants to leave your side, do you? So yeah. When they do a good job, you give them some good praise, and then they soon start working out. The thing with the collies is their nose isn't as good. So say, like I was saying about the bull arable, he'll be finding off the back of the truck, a good one, by 10 months old. So driving along, no spotlight, don't see the pig, off he goes, and he'll run a mile off a track. Catch pig by. A good one will be doing it by 10 months to a year old.
Yeah.
Well, the collies, it's like they don't even have a nose. So they're using their sight a lot. They're using their sight. And then as progresses, so the thing with the collie, like some of those other style of dogs will be unbelievable dogs by 18 months old, but then they don't get any better. Whereas these collies, because of the brains in them, they just get that little bit better at a time. Each time you go out, they get that little bit better. So you might see a mob of pigs, and before that, they might have been running around and trying to, I don't know, bark up the side of its ear to try and get it to pull up. And then one time they might be in thick scrub and they'll grab it on the arse. They'll have a big arse end bite. Then after that, they start doing the arse end bite because they're like, oh, that pulled it up that time. And so they learn, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so at the start, you lose a lot of pigs if you're starting off with that style of dog. But in the end, nothing gets away. But I'm talking by the time they're 2.5 years old, you know what I mean? It's a totally different dog, and they just seem to get better.
Yeah, and that's always a plus too when you got that dog just keeps getting better.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I seen a dog like that one time. I mean, I consider him one of the best dogs I ever seen, and he belonged to a buddy of mine, and he was bird dog, but I don't know if he was like a German short hair or English, but he was bird dog, and he was mixed with the Florida blackmouth, or I don't know if it was a Florida blackmouth, but he had cur dog in him.
Yep.
And when we started out with him, he would catch a hog. I mean, he wouldn't just be so gritty where he'd go in there and slam anything. But if it was a smaller size hog, he would jump on it. Anything like 150, 175 was like kind of the max that he would try on his own. And if it was a big bad hog, he would kind of sit back and bay it. And as soon as he got help, he would help catch. But the one thing was that one day we got on a big group of hogs, and for us, a big group is like 20 to 40 hogs. In this group, there was probably about 40 hogs, and we seen them go into what we call a head of trees, which is like like a little cluster, like a little forest, and it could be any size. It could be like 10 acres or 100 acres or whatever. But anyway, this was like a small patch. It was probably maybe just a couple of acres in size, and we seen all them hogs go in there. So what we ended up doing was we called a couple friends, and they came over with their dogs because them hogs didn't come out of there. So we had our dogs there already, and this dog, his name was Charlie, and we caught a sow with him, and my friend took him away probably about 50, 70 yards in the direction where the rest of the hogs went. But he came back to the sow because, the sow was squealing, and we was tied up trying to get in, we was trying to tie it up. So I was telling my friend to take him a little further, and he did. He probably took him out maybe 100 yards then, 100, 125. and he let him go, and that dog took off, and he went and stopped another hog, and they caught that one. We got there, we're throwing that one in the trailer. As soon as we took him off, he went to the next one.
Going again.
Yeah. He started relaying from there, and he stopped 4 hogs that day.
Yep.
The next time you go hunting, he just started doing that more and more, and then he got to the point to where anytime he saw you, because he would pay attention, even if he's got an ear in his mouth, he would be watching you, and as soon as he seen you grab the back legs, he'd be gone.
I had a dog exactly the same, like nearly 20 years ago, same thing, and he got that good like that. As soon as you grab the back legs, he was gone. So sometimes you'd be stuck there with this bloody great big boar, and the dog was already gone on to the next one. And in the end, you'd have to. I always just had a couple of hog ties, and I just put him on a rope to walk back to the car because I was that buggered. You know what I mean? Just slow down, mate. That's enough. You've done good. It's good to see, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We
call it running on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We call it relaying.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, we always had like pretty gritty dogs, so there would still be, gritty dogs. I mean, gritty dogs, and there'll be still 1 or 2 dogs on the hog. So we was always, pretty secure on when he took off. But he'd be gone.
Yeah. Yep.
I've seen a few of your videos, and I just wanted to go back to it a little bit. You were saying you train them for the boar hogs and stuff like that. I seen it where you tell your dogs pets for boars or something like that.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not right. It's not rocket science. Like I get asked the same question all the time. How do you train your dogs to catch boars? Well, why does the dog do what he does for us? He wants the attention. He loves the attention. When he comes back, all he wants is a pat. And so if you got dogs catching little pigs, well, I don't belt the dogs, but if they're catching little pigs, I definitely rouse on them. Not that means like oi, cut that out sort of thing. No, or whatever. Sows, I don't talk to them. So I'll go there and if I catch a sow, I kill the sow, and we walk back to the truck. It might be, I don't know, quarter mile walk back to the truck. I don't even talk to them at all. Get up. Then the next time they go and catch a boar, I just about cuddle them and kiss them. Not kiss them, but you know what I mean? Like big praise. And then if you can give them some sort of a treat, we have a thing over here. It's called Energel. It's in a little tube, but it's like a lollies. It's like lollies for dogs, like candy. Okay. And they just love it. And just a quick lick of that. It's in a tube. It's like a little paste. It's to give the dogs energy after you've been hunting all night or whatever. It's just it's like, do you know what molasses is?
Yes.
Yeah. It looks and smells like molasses, but it's in a tube. It's obviously got some other bits and pieces in it, and just a quick lick of that, and that's a big prize on the pig. If you don't have something like that, cut the Adam's apple out. If it's a really big pig, cut the heart out and give it to the dog. Yeah. And then if they go and catch a sow again, same thing. And after a while, they know what they're going to get. Because the dog just craves the attention. Yeah. They know after a while that they soon learn. They soon learn what they get the praise for and what they don't.
But you got to have a dog with that too.
Well, yes, that as well. But even some meatheads, I've been able to do that too.
Yeah. So the praise is a universal language in the dog's in.
That's it. Yeah. Dog's a dog. Yeah. So but it definitely can be done. That's for sure. Like I had an old dog, and he'd be cruising along in the ute, and the dogs would be, say I had a mate's dog with me or whatever, and we'd be cruising along, and I had my old dog in the back, and my mate's dog would go, and then he's got a pig, and my dog's still sitting on the back. And he goes, what's happened there? And I go, oh, it's a sow. I said, you go get that one. That's a sow. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, no, you'll see. Got there, come back. What was it? Yeah, it was a sow. I said, this dog won't jump if he smells a sow. If he smells a boar, he'll go. But he won't jump for sow. No jumping for sows.
Every now and then you get you'll get some dogs around here like that too. I've seen a couple in my time where they'll pass up. You know, if it's like a group of hogs, they'll pass up the smaller ones, and it seems like they know. I mean, of course, they got to know because of the smell and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll pick out those boar hogs, or sometimes they might catch a bigger sow, but they'll pass up the little, the little
Yeah,
20,
definitely, yeah.
30 pounders. Yeah, I've
You
seen that.
you always want them grabbing the biggest out of the mob, even if it's a big mob of sows. The same thing, the dogs will do that too. If I saw them on into a mob, they'll 9 times out of 10 they will grab the biggest.
Yeah,
It's pretty to watch. The best one is when you're up the arse of a mob of pigs and the dogs jump and you get to see it, because you don't usually get to see a lot, and you see them run through the middle of the mob and
yeah,
grab the lead boar.
yeah.
That's really pretty to watch. Mm. And especially when you've trained that dog, if you've had it since you're young and you see
Of
him do
course,
that, it's like that's a
of
proud
course.
dad. That's a proud dad moment. That one.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing like watching your youngins come into their own, man.
Oh, I'm hearing you. Yeah, there's no better feeling, I don't think. Especially
No,
when I spend a lot of time with my dogs, and I spend a lot of time with my dogs because I can, because of the
yeah,
lifestyle that I live. You know what I mean? Especially when I go away, there'll be times that I mightn't see anyone for a couple of weeks at all. I'll be camped out in the scrub, and it's just me and the bloody mongrel dogs. And so you get to know everything about them, every little personality, and in exactly how they operate, and you know you can't treat every dog the same. You treat every dog a little bit different, and yeah. So
yeah,
once you spend a lot of time, and it's like you say, there's no better that first time that they catch their first pig, or they split from the older dogs, or whether they lead the older dogs off. That happens a lot for a dog that's wants to be an alpha dog and wants to be at the front. He's hugging the headboard and working the wind.
yeah,
Mm, yeah, I got
yeah,
dogs that you always know which way the wind's coming from. Even if there's the slightest breeze, you're like, oh, I wonder what the wind's doing. You look at the dog, and he's out one side all the time, and you look at your GPS, which way the wind, that must be which way the wind's coming from. And then you get out and you have a look, throw a bit of dust in the air, or if you got a bit of phone service, see in that area which way the wind's coming from, you're like, oh, he's on it, he's on the money.
yeah,
It's good to see.
yeah.
Mm.
And I like what you just said too, because you said that you get to know your dogs and like each one's personalities and their little characteristics,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like, for me, that's like when I know a person that is what we consider here in the States, like amongst hog hunters or dog people. You got people that own dogs, and then you got people that are dog men, dog women,
Mm.
dog people.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
And those dog people, they know that you could have a yard of 20 dogs, and each one of them have different personalities,
Oh, for
and
sure.
you have to kind of cater to each
Mm.
personality so they do their
Yep.
best. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
That's it. And you
Yeah.
know what? Not and a lot. That's how I sort of keep or move dogs on as well. Their personality has to suit me.
Yeah.
So sometimes even if a dog's pretty good, but their personality, I can just see we're going to have a bit of a clash, and then I'll just move that on to onto another hunter. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with the dog; it just doesn't suit my personality, and I've done that plenty of times, and plenty of people have got good dogs. So
Yeah. 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 That's like some people have a dog, and the dog may be a good dog. He hunts good, and he's that style that you want, but he may not get along with other males,
yep,
or may not get along with any other dogs.
mm-hmm.
When he's around working, it's fine. It's fine and dandy
Yep,
when he's around working. But when you put him up in the dog box with the rest of them, he wants to
yeah,
fight it, or he wants to
yeah, that's
fight
right.
every other male.
Yeah,
Then you
yep,
that dog onto a person that can deal with that type
yeah,
of dog. Huh?
that's right. Yeah, yep. And um, with dogs like that too, the reason it's like this, and this is just my opinion. I'm not like no one's taught me anything. I just sort of everything I've ever done is pretty well just from spending so much time with them. And when a dog starts dominating and stuff on the back, it's sort of like, to me, it's like he thinks he's the boss of this whole crew when you're the
Mm-hmm.
boss, and you just
Mm-hmm.
got to get on top of that to say, hey, I'm the alpha.
Mm-hmm.
You don't tolerate anything like that. So
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then you got some breeds, you know what I mean? Like, I'm lucky the breeds I always hunt with, they're not fighting. There's no fight in them. They might have a growl and a carry on every now and again.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not. If I was to start getting bulldogs and stuff like that and throwing that in there,
Yeah.
it's going to be a bit more difficult. That's what they're bred for, so they love that stuff.
Yeah. That's good when you have a pack that just gets along too. You can just
Yeah. I can have 15 dogs out here at home here, and there's no dramas at all.
Yeah.
But you can see what's going on. You can see if there's a male that might have a little bit of hoop in his tail and he's strutting around. And if I see any of that, I just tell them straight up, "Boy, cut that out." And they're not even doing anything. Anyone else probably can't even see what they're doing, but I know them that well.
Yeah.
Before there is any trouble, I can just say, "No, that's
Yeah.
having a little bit of control over the pack." You know what I mean? I'm the boss of this pack, not you.
And thing, man, knowing your dogs, and
That's it.
Knowing what they do.
I remember years ago, I went overseas, and I got a girl to come and look after my dogs,
Uh-huh.
and I said to her, "Look, don't let them all. Just let 2 or 3 out at a time, and then run them around, do whatever you got to do, feed them, put them back in the kennels."
Yeah.
I've been gone a day. I get a phone call. There's been a dog fight. I'm like, "Really?" They go, "Yeah, they've all mauled one dog." And I'm like, "Holy!" I said, "You had them all out, didn't you?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, well, that's why I said don't have them all out together, even though they never fight ever with me, but because they're testing you for starters.
Yeah.
And then there was a dog that probably was trying to be dominant, saying, "Hey, I'm the boss now. The boss has left. I'm the boss now."
Yeah.
And they wanted no part of it, and they all turned on that dog. He survived, but
Yeah.
they roughed him up a bit.
Yeah.
And that would never happen if I was there.
Yeah.
They know not to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally understand that because, like here in my yard, when I want the yard quiet, when they start getting out of hand barking, and I want the yard quiet, I yell out "quit," and they go.
Yep.
My old lady or the kids yell out "quit," and they gotta yell "quit" 10 times before.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they know you. They know. Look, your dogs know you just as much as you know your dogs.
Yeah.
They know when you're walking back to the truck, or the way you're walking, or eye contact's a big thing, I reckon.
Yeah.
And they can pick things. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what you just said too, because sometimes when I go hunting with my friends, they might have these really, really long range dogs that got hound in them, or they are straight hound. And they run 5 miles one direction and run back 5 miles or whatever. And my dogs, the two that I'm mostly using right now, that show me a lot of promise right now, because I'm just building my pack back up. But I know they're not long lasting dogs. They might go about maybe 3/4 of a mile, and that's about their top end. And that's it. And they don't have a nose for a cold track. And I know that's how my dogs are. So anyway, what I'm getting at is that, okay, when I hear the hounds getting closer, I know that hog is probably going to be a second or two ahead of those hounds. So get ready, and when I see that hog come across the road, and I see that hog, I'll jump out and run to the back. And my two dogs, they're starting to pick up that, oh, boss man's coming in a hurry. They're like, they're gone. They're like, two little bullets just running down the road, and then they pick up and take off. But if I come back there nice and calm and open up the latch and let them out, they come out, get out, walk around, do their business, take a crap, take a piss, whatever, stretch their legs. But they know when I come running back there in a hurry and snatch that gate open, they're gone.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, they know. They're not silly. They're not silly. They can, they listen to you too. If you got people in the car with you or in the buggy, they can tell by your voice. They like you could go, oh, look over there, and then next thing the dogs are, they know something as well. You know what I mean? Because they know every time that Yeah, or if you hit a certain paddock, like dogs remember as well. They're not stupid. They know every time they come in this paddock, we catch pigs every time.
Yeah.
And you can see them when you enter some paddocks. They're like,
Yeah.
and they're ready. Yeah, they change their mannerisms because they know that this is,
Yeah.
they catch pigs in this paddock.
I keep looking at that picture behind you. Is that a special dog to you?
Yeah, that was he was a band dog, so he was Pit Neo, and let me just think. Yeah, he would have been my first ever pig dog. So he was a proper meathead, very hard to control, hard to get off. He could hold a bull, no problem, but he was an amazing dog as well at the same time. And that was a long time ago, nearly 20 years ago now, before trackers and everything came. And yeah, that was he was my main dog, big dog. Yeah, so he made it to the lounge room.
Oh yeah. He looks like a big dog. How big was he?
He was about 40 kilo, which is around about 90 pounds, I guess.
Yeah, 88, 90 pounds.
Yeah. So he was a second generation band dog. So his parents were band dogs. Their parents, one was a Pit, one was a Napoleon Mastiff.
Oh, wow.
So straight crosses, and then, they breed them, and then, you get your band dog, and then they start breeding band dogs to band dogs, and you got sort of half a breed. So yeah, I've always had a soft spot for that breed. I don't like the Neo or the roly poly and everything, but you throw the Pit into that breed, and it really hards them up. Even though those Neos are, they're covered in skin and big dopey looking things, they're very athletic style of dog, and they've still got that old world guard instinct. So they make really good guard dogs to look after the family.
Yeah,
and they hate pigs as well. And that dog there, he was I got him when he was 2 years old, I think, and I took him hunting with a bunch of hunters one weekend. He'd never seen a pig in his life, and I threw him up the back, and by the end of that weekend, that dog was leading dogs off, smelling pigs. Before you were seeing him, and it was a spin out, and then he ended up becoming a bloody I hunted him for probably about 4 years, and then he was half sort of worn out, and he got retired, and then he just lived out his retirement and died at an old age.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah, he was a freak. Yeah, he was a freak, definitely. He's not many dogs you can call freaks, but he was definitely one of them. And he wasn't a big long distance dog, but a lot of the dogs back then weren't. Like, we didn't have GPS back then, and we used to lose dogs all the time. And but I think that if we had dogs like we had now with no GPS, I don't think we could even do it. I think that the dogs have progressed. They've gotten better because we've got better tracking equipment. We can use a dog that's going to go 2 miles now. I mean, back in the day, if you had dogs that went that far back in the day, you'd never get to them. You can't hear them. So yeah, sometimes as the dog will jump off. He'll go to the left. He might go to the left, go back down behind you, and then cross over back down behind you, back across the road, and go that way.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, there, the dog ran that way. Let's run that way. But the dog's a mile this way already. I don't know how we did it, really.
Yeah, I remember those days, man, because I was probably about 12, 13 years old, I would say, when I got into hog hunting with dogs, and we couldn't afford the technology. Put it that way. We couldn't afford the technology. There was some better technology out there. There's that big antenna with the pinging noise.
Yeah. I had one of them. Radio tracker.
Yeah. And the collars were probably like $80 or $100, and the unit was like $300. But we just didn't have the money back then.
Yep.
So like you said, all of our dogs were probably 600-800 yards top end, and you can hear them barking. But on a windy day, that's when you were out of luck. It's like,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it was a windy night, we wouldn't even hunt. And
exactly.
You're just like, no, it's too windy to go out. But I remember that. I'm pretty sure I've still got my old antenna set up, because I went to that once they come out, the radio tracker, and it was like a bloody, the TV aerial, And you pull it out of this tube, and then it goes tink, 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 and it's got like a pistol grip, and you got a dial there, and you're like, deet, 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 deet. And all you didn't know you didn't know how far they were. All you knew is if they're in, yeah, he's going to be in this direction, and that's all you knew. You know, he's going to be in this direction. You didn't know how far or anything. And the GPS, like I said, when I had that break out of hunting, and then I got back in, and I bought GPS straight up.
Yeah.
I was like, how the hell do you even use this damn thing? But you can't beat it, and I can't beat it for myself. I mean, we used to we had these mine reflective tags, and they'd shine up with a torch. And if we had to go a long way in the bush to get a pig, we'd put a tag on a tree, like a breadcrumb you leave in a trail. And then, another couple of 100 meters, we'll put another reflective tag, so that when you're coming back out to find your way back to the car, oh yeah, there's the tag. All right, where's the next tag? There. Now I just look at your GPS. Yep. Sometimes I'm still like, mate, I reckon this GPS is wrong, but it's always right.
Yeah, I can relate to that, because something you said earlier in your story too, that you had about a 10-year break, and I was the same way. I probably had about a 10-year break. I mean, I hunted a few times here and there. In between that, it wasn't like how I am now, where I get to go.
Not serious.
Yeah, and when I got back into it, how I got back into it is my old lady's kids. They would go to their fathers on every other weekend, and they hunt a lot over there. And then one of my good friends, he would hunt a lot, and they kept telling me these stories of the hogs they caught, and my dog was doing this, and my dog did that, and this and that. Man, that fire just got lit back up.
So I'm hearing you.
When you do the spear hunting, is that without a dogs going there with the spear?
Yeah, no catch dogs, just bay. They're baying the pig. And then the idea is the pig is just focused on the dog, and you sneak in there as best you can. I don't know how long the spear would be. Well, I'm 6 foot, so it's probably 6'2". It's probably the same height as me.
Okay.
And you sort of hold him like that. We don't throw the spear, and we go in, and I just try to aim as best as I can for the heart into the side, and I just boom, one hit.
Yeah.
And then get out of the road. I mean, but they do come for you. If you're sneaking up and the pig sees you, he will go you, and then I just use the spear to keep it off me. But it's I like it. It's the adrenaline, and it's the challenge of it. Especially if it's a big boy. If it's a small pig, it's not really a challenge. You know what I mean? Like, but if it's a big fella, oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. You smell all that musk in the air. The dogs are barking.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah. Especially if there's no trees.
Yeah.
If you're in an open paddock doing it, you just gotta have a lot of faith in your dogs. That's for sure. Because if he does come for you to charge, my dogs will just grab it on the back straight away and just spin him straight back around.
Yeah.
But you get some pigs. They don't care about the dogs. It's a human. They just want to, they want to eat you. So yeah, like you get some pigs and they got a dog hanging off each ear, and if they see you coming, they're just like straight to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you stick it, is it like you stick and pull out, or do you stick and just keep it in it?
No, just in and out. And I've got a good knife maker over here. He looks after me, supplies all my knives, and supplied me a spear. And it's a piece of artwork, absolute artwork. And you do have to make them strong, because a lot of guys you see, some guys leave it in there, and then a big powerful pig, as he goes to move, just snaps the damn thing. So yeah, but I that's super sharp. I mean, if you dropped it on the pig, it'd go in. It's that sharp. But just a quick hit, and then get out of the road, and they usually die straight away. Almost as quick as a bullet.
Me and a friend of mine, we had caught this hog, and he ended up in a little pond, and we had like 3 dogs on him, but we couldn't get to his back end, because he had his back end sitting in the water, and every time you try to get to his back end, he try to spin on you.
Yep.
So we just went front, and reached up under, and I stuck him the first 3 times, and it's like an 8-inch blade. Maybe I just stuck him wrong. I don't know, but I stuck him like 3 times in the armpit area, and he stood there and fought them dogs for at least another 10, 15 minutes.
Oh,
And then my friend went in there, and he stuck him 2 more times, and he went another 5 minutes before he finally fell over.
Wow. Yeah, he mustn't have got the heart. You get the heart, doesn't matter. They just... If you hit the heart, even with bloody a little screwdriver or something, yeah, you put a puncher in the heart, and that's the old oil pump for a pig, and they don't usually last too long. But yeah, sometimes I always find the bigger pigs are the easier ones to stick. Because they got a bigger heart, so you got a lot better chance of getting them. And sometimes the smaller ones are a little bit more difficult. They take a little bit longer if you don't get the right spot.